I just don't get it, Liam. 3 interviews, all seem to go well, and then nothing. It's just a waste of time and energy. Weary face. Look, I know it stings, but you can't dwell on it. Maybe those jobs just weren't the right fit. You know what they say, everything happens for a reason. That proverb is what I hate to hear right now. It sounds so dismissive of the frustration. Everything happens for a reason. Does that reason include me spending 2 weeks prepping for interviews that led nowhere? What's the grand cosmic plan there? It's not about a grand cosmic plan, necessarily, though some people see it that way. For me, it's a way of saying that even a setback forces you to pause and reevaluate. It makes you look closer at what you really want. Maybe if you had gotten one of those jobs, you would have been settling, and the truly perfect opportunity, one you haven't seen yet, would have passed you by. So, the reason is that I get to spend more time applying for jobs I don't get, only to maybe stumble upon a better one later? That sounds like a lot of unnecessary stress just for a better reason. I prefer the simpler explanation, I wasn't good enough for those jobs, or someone else was better. It's just statistics. That's too harsh. It's not about worth. It's about path. Think of it like a detours on a road trip. The main road is closed, so you take the back roads, right? They take longer, but suddenly you might see a beautiful view or discover a small town you never knew existed. The closure, the bad thing, caused the discovery of something potentially better. That's the reason. I see your point with the detour analogy. I suppose I could use this extra time to brush up on a skill I was planning to mention in future interviews, or maybe even rethink the industry I'm applying in. If I had the job, I wouldn't be doing that self-improvement. Exactly. The rejection is a motivation for the improvement. The lack of that job is the reason you're now forced to be even more prepared for the next one. It shifts the focus from why did this fail to what do I do differently now? It's a proverb about finding the silver lining, not a guarantee of instant happiness. Alright, fine. I still think it's an irritatingly vague thing to say when someone's upset, but I'll admit, viewing this as a forced preparation period instead of a failure makes the whole thing much more tolerable. Maybe the reason for this initial disappointment is that the better job requires a few more skills I haven't mastered yet. I'll take that. That's the spirit. Now, about that skill. Let's talk strategy. So, that's the optimistic take, this setback is the reason I'm going to be better prepared. But what about the cynical side of the proverb? Sometimes, I think people use it as an excuse for inaction or to avoid accountability. That's a fair criticism. When someone says, well, my car broke down on the way to the airport, but everything happens for a reason, they might just be using it to avoid the frustration of having missed their flight or the financial reason they neglected car maintenance. It can definitely be a passive cop-out. Exactly. It feels like a way of saying, don't bother figuring out why it happened or how to prevent it next time. Just assume fate had a better plan. And that's dangerous because the actual reason could be a systemic flaw or a mistake I need to correct. You're right. We have to separate the philosophical comfort it offers from the practical action it demands. The phrase should be interpreted as, something difficult happened, and it is your responsibility to find the positive lesson or future opportunity that the event enables. It shouldn't mean you just sit back and wait for a sign. That distinction makes it much more useful. It forces the search for the reason, rather than just accepting a vague one. For these job rejections, the reason I need to find isn't fate, but something concrete, like I need more Python experience, or my interviewing stories lacked a strong conclusion. So, let's turn this proverb into a verb. Instead of passively accepting, everything happened for a reason, let's actively ask, what is the most productive reason this happened? For your job search, the active reason is likely related to market demand and skill alignment. Okay, I like that. The previous job served the reason of teaching me what the market is actually looking for. I thought my old skills were enough, but the market disagreed. The rejection is the feedback. Precisely. And that feedback is a gift, It's the new reason to dedicate this next month to those new skills. You're not waiting for fate. You're building a stronger foundation that will make your success inevitable, regardless of which door eventually opens. Alright, Liam. You've successfully reframed my least favorite proverb. The reason I didn't get the job is not a mystery, it's homework. Thanks. Now, let's research some Python courses. That's the spirit. Let's find that better reason together. Thank you for watching. Please encourage me by sharing, like, comment. See you in my next post.